Ladies, the holidays are sneaking up faster than your fourth cup of peppermint mocha. And if you're still debating what the heck to get your guy or your dad or your brother or your family member, we have the perfect gift. The Chairman TM Pro package from Manscaped. It's like the Rudolph of grooming, guiding him to the smoothest, irritation-free shave of his life. So head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using the code TGOG for 20% off and free shipping. So if you want to know more about the package, the star of the show is the Chairman Pro. It has not one, but two interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. The first is a skin-safe 4-blade foil for when he wants that baby bottom smooth. And then the skin-safe stubble trimmer is the second one for when he wants some stubble, but just to clean it up a bit. There's also more. The Chairman Pro has Flex Adjust technology. The Chairman Pro is also waterproof, which means he can use it in the shower. It simplifies the cleanup. The package also includes the Power Shave Gel, which is a non-irritating lubricating formula made specifically to work with the Chairman Pro. And to finish it off, they have the Face Shave Soother, which is an aftershave serum to be applied after shaving that will hydrate his skin and soothe any post-shave irritation. And I am gifting it not only to my brother, but I'm gifting it to my brother-in-law and to Payne and to all the men in my life. So gift your man with the ultimate grooming experience by Manscaped and get him the Chairman TM Pro package for the holidays. It's a thoughtful and practical gift that he'll actually use and love. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code TGOG at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code TGOG at manscaped.com.
People say I'm nice. I'm really mean in my head.
I know. I know. I'm going to show you my titties.
Very spooky.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello. This is Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two girls, one ghost. And we are your ghostesses. That is Corinne.
Hello.
And I am Sabrina. And this is very serious business.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hello. I felt like you came in with such good energy. Suddenly we were
I
becoming
did,
serious.
but you said hello. And I was like, oh, we're serious now.
Oh, yeah. We're doing the, what is it? The Meisner method where it's like, hi,
Hello.
Hi.
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 We just go back and forth. Acting, baby.
Anyway, we're here to tell you a ghost story today. This is our last episode of 2024
Oh, my God.
on the regular feed. We do have one Patreon bonus that comes out on Christmas. And then if you are on Patreon, you get episodes 1 week early and ad free. So you'll continue to get episodes. But we here at Two Girls, One Ghost like to take time off. And
by time off, we take 2 weeks on the regular feed and then we don't really take that much
No.
time on Patreon.
we take no time off.
Time off.
It's 2 episodes off where you don't have 2 episodes for 2 weeks.
Fa la 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 la. You went to Savannah without me.
I did go to Savannah without you, and I'm very sorry. But I will absolutely go with you again. And there's so many things for us to do.
Did you touch Spanish moss?
I didn't touch it, but I saw it.
You looked at it?
I looked at it. I admired it. Okay, so we stayed at this. Payne's mom booked like a Airbnb place, and the day we get there, I hear a meow at the back door. There's a black cat at the back door.
Of course you found a place that has like a little resident black cat. So cute.
And he literally, I don't know, I didn't get a close look, but I mean, they did let me pick them up. So this was like a friendly cat.
Wow.
But the cat literally walks inside, struts inside, gets on bed with me and like cuddles with me. And I was like, if this wasn't my first trip with all of Payne's like family, like and me solo, I would totally be like, hey, this cat is staying in here with me.
Yeah, like you guys go do you.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay with the cat.
Yeah. And I did have my own room, but I also felt like maybe that's not so chill. So cute. And there was no cat food or anything. So I ordered cat food to be delivered. And then it came in the morning because by the time I ordered it, it was late. And so I had to like schedule the order. And it didn't come until the next day. And then I never saw the cat again.
Oh my God. Oh, so what did you do with the cat food? Did you just leave it in the Airbnb?
Well, I did put some outside hoping that the cat would come back. They did not. And so I left it at the Airbnb.
I wonder if this cat is like the Snaggletooth Fred, was it, in Marblehead that Allison
Yeah.
and Daniel had, where it was like he just did his rounds because he knew who he'd get like cuddles and food from, or like where new people would be. He would just,
he
like,
100%
rotate
had
houses.
been in that house before.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Based on the way that he
probably
was
just
acting.
like goes by, peeks, and is like, that person kind of seems like a cat person. I think I'll stop
He
by
got
today.
cat person energy from me for
Yeah,
sure.
he did.
Which, speaking of, I'm so sad. It's cold in here, so I can't. I'll give you a little
You'll flash everyone.
peep show. There's this brand called La La Land, I think, and they targeted me on Instagram. And they did the jacket I was wearing and Encounters 261 is from there. The sweatshirt is from there, and the shirt I'm about to show you is from there. I'm going to show you my titties. And I mean,
I'm also wearing an Instagram targeted The Girls Will Be Girls witchcraft one.
my kitties.
Oh my God.
There's kitties on my titties.
That's hilarious. I wish they were winking, but they're great.
They're cute. And the back says, meow, 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 meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
Anyway, I have a Bigfoot story for you.
Oh my God, I forgot you texted me that.
Yeah. Okay. So we went on a ghost tour in Savannah
Yeah.
and got a lot of ghost stories, but also got a Bigfoot story.
Are you going to
just for
do
you.
the Savannah ghost stories at some point?
Yes, absolutely.
Like cover them?
I wrote
Okay.
down, there's like one house specifically that's now a hotel that
Cool.
I will cover early in 2025 because
Perfect.
I was like so stoked about it. Let me find my text to myself because I did text myself the deets.
That's a good call because every time I've collected ghost stories and then I write in the notes of my app, I'm like, Mom, 1972, farmhouse. And then when it comes time to tell you, I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote Devil's Mills, Hopper, Bigfoot, Gainesville, Florida. That's my note to myself.
Okay.
So, we were on a ghost tour. I'll check back, but I think while we were on the ghost tour and I heard him say Bigfoot story, I started recording secretly on my phone. So I'll go back and double check. Thanks to some of our listeners, I got recommendations of ghost tours, and I ended up doing the Creepy Crawl Haunted Pub Tour. And it was amazing. Highly recommend. It's very theatrical. Like the tour guide was like so enthused, and we started, and he's holding a drink and he's like, and all of a sudden all of the portraits start to shake, and like his drink is
Oh
pouring
my God,
everywhere.
I love that. That's the energy I wish all the tour guides had.
It was fantastic.
Believe it, feel it, live it every time.
Yeah, like it was very, very fun. And yeah,
Maybe he's a time traveler and he lived it himself and now he's here to tell his haunting tale.
he did help with one of the big, not Ghost Adventures, but another ghost show. He helped do like location scouting.
Oh, interesting.
So yes, he has some experience in haunted locations. He's done haunted paranormal investigations, all this stuff. He's from Florida, and we're walking along, talking, all this stuff. And I don't even know how it came up, but he goes, I haven't seen a ton of ghosts, that I've had paranormal experiences, but one thing I absolutely believe in is Bigfoot.
Yes.
Yeah. And Payne's mom, Star, goes, does he know who you are? And I was like, I was like embarrassed, but ended up talking about Two Girls, One Ghost and all that stuff. But he tells the story. This took place in Gainesville, Florida, and he was driving with a friend. And they were driving down like this long stretch of road in this area, I think called Devil's Mills Hopper. I think that's an area. And there's a lot of weird
Marshy,
things.
probably.
Mm-hmm. I think there are a lot of weird things that have happened. But anyway, he and his friend are in the car and they're driving. I think it's the middle of the day. And he describes getting like a weird sensation and feeling. And he sees on the side of the road, like in the tree line, is a massive, hairy, humanoid looking creature. And both him and his friend
Wait, during the day?
During the day. Both him and his friend go silent. And they like, they're driving pretty fast. So they drive past it.
Yeah.
He's just like in his mind, racking his brain, like, what did I just see? Yada, yada, yada. Him and his friend are sitting in silence for like 2 minutes. And all of a sudden his friend turns to him and goes, did you? And then he's like, yeah. And they're like, okay, we just saw a Bigfoot, right?
Florida man finds Bigfoot.
So they saw Bigfoot.
Holy shit.
And he's like, I know for a fact it was Bigfoot.
And Bigfoot was just completely still, just waiting for them
I
to
think
pass.
he might have been like moving through the trees, but it was like a
interesting.
very clear, they were moving too. So it was just like one of these like slow motion moments.
I'm so envious.
Well, now we know where to go.
I want to see Bigfoot so bad.
Well, we know where to go.
That is where like I lose my inhibitions and I just am a yes and full, like Ouija board to contact Bigfoot? Sure.
Wow.
I'll try.
Okay.
Put me in a swamp and I'm there.
I mean, we can do that. We can make that happen.
Okay. That's so cool.
You're going to cry.
And it's during the day too, so it's not even as spooky.
I know. I
That's
know.
the best.
I know.
Damn. I wish they had their windows down so they could smell him, you know?
It's so funny how you want to smell Bigfoot, but you are so smell oriented that you're not going to like the smell. But
yeah, no, it would be terrible. But it's a part of the sensory experience.
Yeah. You want the full 360.
I want all my senses to be
tantalized by Bigfoot.
Yeah, satiated. I want to feel him. I want to smell him. I want to see him.
We can make it happen.
Hear his
oh. I don't know why the way that you did your Bigfoot call made me think of Step Brothers. Should we harmonize? My favorite thing ever is when someone rated and reviewed us on iTunes and they were like, please stop singing. And our response was to do a whole thing on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, where we just like kept singing.
Mm-hmm.
With a piano. Speaking of Step Brothers.
Do you have a stepbrother?
No, but it just reminds me of when I went to the Andrea Bocelli concert and he played his song.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny to me that like obviously Step Brothers had to have the rights to play that song and that they just go to a very respected opera singer and ask for the rights for two comedians to completely not butcher it because it was actually really
they did
great,
a really good job with it.
But like to fool around with it in this weirdest
like
of
you
ways.
want to do with Bigfoot.
Yeah. And that he was like, I'm so down. Like I love taking a serious art and just being like, let's
not
make
serious.
it silly.
Yeah. We're good at making things silly and not serious. I know we started this saying this is serious business. But anyway, Savannah was really cool.
Serious. It's ghosts.
It's ghosts. And there is one house specifically that I said that I wrote down and I'm like so excited to talk about.
Okay.
We should stay there when we go.
So it's a house that you can stay at.
Yeah,
now.
It's a hotel.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You said that earlier.
Yeah.
Brain moving slow.
Happy holidays to everyone. We're really, we do want to take a moment to say thank you for all being here. And I know usually we do technically I guess this is not the last episode of the year because we have the episode with Aliza Kelly coming out on December 17th, like 2 days after this. But usually our last episode of the year, you and I sit down and look at our horoscopes for the year ahead. We find like random websites to do it. This year we took it one level more professional.
Maybe like 10 levels more
serious. And we sat down with Aliza Kelly of Horoscopes Weekly, the podcast. And she also has a book.
Is an expert in this.
It's all magic.
It is her career.
Yeah.
So she is not just CatherinePolitan.com.
No, she's not. She's
she
incredible.
knows what she's talking about. She traveled up to us.
Yeah. And we sat down
here with us.
Here and did like a full legit look at the year ahead. It's general to kind of like everyone, what 2025 looks like, and then specifically you and I. But we do want to take a moment, as we do every year, to reflect on the past year and say thank you to all of you who have come back episode after episode, who have shared it with their friends and joined in the pyramid scheme and have sent your ghost stories to us or supported us in any way. We're just
especially
really
this year. This was a very hard year.
And
this was kind of like the light of the year.
Talking about ghosts?
Yeah.
Aw.
It's always, I enjoy it.
Me too.
Good that we do.
But anyway, yes.
Isn't that interesting? We like talking about ghosts.
Like it. Thank you to all of you. We love you. And also thank you, Corinne. I know it's been a hard year.
Well, thank you for helping me. I was telling you the other day, I was like, in the history of our entire friendship, I've never asked or required anything from you, really. And I saved all of my favors and emotional support needs for one chunk of time. So it was like you had to go from 0 to 100.
But that's what friends do.
Just like, I need you, and I actually need you for like 5 months.
And I will be here for you.
Thank you.
It was interesting. I was thinking about like Christmas gifts and stuff. And you know how like one of those gifts that people give is like the coupon book and it's like good for one babysitting or whatever. And I was like, this would be the worst gift in the world for Corinne because one, she would never use it. And then two,
I wouldn't.
I'm not a coupon person. I literally am going to show up at your house and be like, hey, you and Brian need to get out of here. Like, I'm going to watch Noah.
But then that wouldn't work because I feel like that's the thing that everyone keeps thinking. Like, it's the thing that people think to offer.
Okay, fine,
parents.
I'll kidnap Noah.
It's like, I have anxiety being, like, me being separated from him is worse. Like I don't want.
Okay, fine. I'm going to kidnap all 3 of you and I'm going to take you and Brian to like a massage place and I'll have Noah in the room right outside.
I need someone to come in my house and like clean my house and do
I'll
the
do that
laundry
too.
and do like the things like that where I could just completely focus on Noah.
I will literally do that.
That's
See,
the
but
thing.
you won't ask for that, but I'll literally do that.
No.
I'll be the ghost that
Cube him crying.
Yeah, cube, no crying. I'll be the ghost that haunts your house and does your
Thanks.
laundry. I'll be the helpful ghost.
The helpful little ghost. The thing is, I say that, but I'm gonna like beat you to it. I'm gonna be like, oh, Sabrina's coming over. I'll start the laundry. It'll be. I struggle with losing control.
I'm gonna scheme with Brian.
Good luck.
I don't need it.
Okay, but we have a story to share today, and it is me sharing the story and you
Listening.
absorbing it. Okay, so last
Did you say
fall,
performing it?
absorbing,
Oh.
but you can perform it. I'm gonna rewrite this real quick. Give me 1 second.
Give me the script.
I need to include some acting parts in here. Okay, but last fall we were on tour
Mhm.
and we went to Denver
Mhm.
and we played at and investigated Cervantes
Mhm.
Ballroom.
Yeah.
Cervantes Ballroom. So we experienced, and we're no strangers to Denver's hauntings,
Mm-mm.
but there is some ghosts that we have not become acquainted with. And it is the ghosts of the oldest hotel in Denver, which is the
Interesting.
Oxford Hotel.
Denver has so many hauntings. We did the Unsinkable
Oh,
Molly Brown
Yeah,
house.
and then I covered another house that was like a block away from
No,
there.
I did that. You did the Molly Brown,
Oh,
and I
okay.
did the other one.
Whatever. It's all so confusing.
We are one. Actually, in Encounters 260, when Ladies and Tangents helped record with me,
Yeah, they covered for me.
I kept saying we as if like I was speaking for both of us, like the whole time.
Well, that makes sense.
Like I didn't say I maybe once.
That's good. I was
Yeah.
actually thinking about that the other day, and it was like a big part of my career when I was doing recruiting
Mm-hmm.
was listening to people and if they say I or if they say we.
Interesting.
Because depending on their job, it was like,
Are they a team player or are they individual? Yeah.
do they care more about like their own credit and like
Mm.
doing stuff like that? Or do they work better individually? Or are they more of like a collective?
Psychology is so interesting.
And we also stayed at the Brown Palace when we were there. So we covered that
And you
too.
covered that. Yeah.
We're going to cover the Oxford Hotel. Back to
Cool.
Denver we go. This is an elegant yet eerie place that has been welcoming guests for over a century. And with all the legends and lore that surround it, it's clear that some of the guests, some of the residents, have never checked out. So we will delve into the
Interesting.
history, the hauntings, and the spirits of the Oxford Hotel.
Okay.
It first opened its doors in 1891 at the height of Denver's railroad boom. And the city was a bustling hub for rail travelers, for miners, which apparently at this time it was peak silver rush. I feel like we always hear about the gold rush, but it was like the
Interesting.
silver rush
Okay.
here. And there were business people that would come, just everyone who needed a place to stay.
It's such an interesting time in our history where it feels like cowboys and like business folk, city folk, like it's just an amalgamation of types of people.
Yeah, you're right.
All existing at one time that feel like they shouldn't all go together, but they do. And Denver feels like a hub where they all are
Yeah.
intersecting.
And they're all chilling at the bar in this
Yeah.
like one hotel. Like someone's doing a shootout and then someone else is like, I'm about to make millions on the railroads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's a weird time. You have heard Corinne complain about her hair loss ever since having Noah, which is why we're so grateful for Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. And everyone's root causes of hair thinning are different, so they know a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth does not cut it, which is great. So Corinne has a formula that is tailored specifically to postpartum. I have a formula that's tailored towards my lifestyle, such as a plant-based diet, and they're all physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients. Nutrafol supplements support healthy hair growth from within by targeting root causes of thinning, including stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism as they evolve through a woman's life. And it's super simple to build your hair growth routine. You purchase online, no prescription is required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. The cold, dry air of winter can be unforgiving, but your hair does not have to suffer. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code TGOG. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code TGOG. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code TGOG.
If we could go back in time, maybe that would be a cool time to visit.
It would be cool to visit. Or like quickly,
Just
like
for,
a brief,
for a moment. I wouldn't feel safe there, I don't think.
Tip my hat and then
I'm
off
not sure
I
I'd
go.
feel safe in most times. Do I feel safe
Do
now?
we feel safe now? No. That's the point. Like, no, you're never safe. Stay at home.
I might feel safe with the dinosaurs. I'm not sure.
It makes sense because you love Bigfoot. Like I'm picturing you, Twilight, flying through the trees on like a
T-Rex.
pterodactyl. I combined like 3 dinosaurs.
Well, T-Rexes might have. There's a new theory that like their little arms are actually just like the skeletal system for wings.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so maybe I'm flying on the back of a giant ostrich, which is the T-Rex.
Yeah, there we go.
There's a lot of people all coming to stay at this one place, the Oxford Hotel. It was the very first hotel to open in Denver.
Wow.
So it has seen more people than any hotel really there, more types of people. So the Oxford was at its height of luxury for the time. It was complete with stained glass windows, it had clawfoot tubs, hand-carved details, just so, so beautiful. It's a 5-story hotel. It was designed by Frank E. Edbrook, who was one of Denver's most prominent architects, and he designed the Brown Palace. So we've already seen his work. We've existed and slept
aesthetic.
in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Over the years, the Oxford has seen everything from Prohibition-era speakeasies to jazz clubs. It's entertained high-profile guests, so it's seen a lot of celebrities. It's seen many presidents. I wonder if Taylor Swift stayed there because I know that she stays at the Brown Palace when she goes.
She stays at the Brown Palace.
Yeah. So maybe she didn't go to the Oxford.
Yeah.
Maybe once.
Maybe she drove past it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while the hotel's facade has always been very inviting, the stories within its walls tell of heartbreak and betrayal and tragedy.
As there seems to be in lots of hotels, especially old hotels.
And it kind of makes sense. Like you were saying, the amalgamation of people and just like the stress of life at that time.
And there weren't as many hotels or destinations that people were going to. I feel like going to stay at a hotel was such a experience. The same way like flying once was when it was like first originated. It was such a like you dressed up and it was such an occasion. Like the vacation almost itself was going to that hotel rather than visiting the place.
Yeah. It is interesting too because I feel like it's almost like since hotels first existed, it was for people to travel and stay up for a short period of time. But then there were always those residents that like lived in the hotels, like the Brown Palace.
Yeah. What's the one in New York, the famous one? I even went to visit it. Chelsea? No.
Was it the Chelsea Hotel?
Is it the Chelsea?
That's the really haunted one. And we stayed across the street from it when we were playing.
The Gotham is like right next to it.
Yeah.
And then, it's the Chelsea. And like the top floor was like residential.
I wonder how you get, we should ask Zach and Cody from The Sweet Life. How do you end up living in a hotel?
How do you become Eloise?
Yeah, please let us know. Not that we want to, but
I do. That could be kind of fun.
So we're going to begin with the most infamous location at the Oxford Hotel. It is room 320, nicknamed the Murder Room.
Great nickname.
Yeah.
Great.
Checking in. Oh, you've got the murder room.
Yeah.
As a queen bed, a bath.
It's like we have the presidential suite, we have the like Lincoln room, and then we have the murder room.
Yep. Oh, great. Yeah. Lovely. Yeah. Put me in there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do request it because it is
haunted.
This particular room is known for a tragedy. It's a legend, but it's a tragic kind of love story gone wrong.
Gotcha.
So just 7 years after the hotel opened, it is said that there was a woman named Florence Montague, and she
nice name.
I know. Yeah, I saw like a few of the blogs talking about it were like, of course, like perfect ghost name.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But it is said that Florence Montague was staying there with her husband, and she walked in to their room and found her husband in bed with another woman. So he was unfaithful, and she was just blind in a fit of rage in that very moment.
Seems like a bad move on his part. Like you're
in a hotel
room with your wife.
Right. And like maybe it's a legend, so maybe the details are fuzzy. Like maybe he was staying there. Like was she supposed to be there? Did she just show up? Did she have like a hunch? I don't know. But all I know is the legend says she walked in on her husband with another woman at the Oxford Hotel in room 320. Perhaps she wasn't supposed to be there and she did have a hunch because apparently she had a firearm on her. And in this fit of rage and in her anger, she shot and killed her husband and then turned the firearm on herself.
Oh, on herself?
Yes. they both died. There's another version of this story where it's him who found her and that she was hiding in the closet from him and trying to like escape his rage, and then he ended up killing them both. But the majority of the legends say that it was her that found him.
Okay.
Either way, guests and staff have reported eerie happenings within the walls of room 320, and Florence is suspected to be the one who's doing all of these hauntings.
Okay.
Those brave enough to stay in room 320 report feelings of intense sadness, anger. Some people hear strange noises. They hear heavy footsteps going back and forth. They feel this like inexplicable coldness, a chill just filling the entire air.
Mm.
And it's said that it's most cold near the closet, which is said where she was supposed to have hidden before the tragic event. But then it's unclear because it's like maybe it was him who was trying to hide. I don't know. Either way, the closet seems to be
or was
like
she
a little bit
hiding
of a-
in there
to find them.
when they came in together?
Interesting.
Who knows?
There's holes in the story. We'd probably have to take a ghost tour to actually get
learn.
like the full details. That's one of the things with some of these hauntings. I feel like ghost tours keep a lot of the details. Like they somehow have them, and then they escape the rest of the internet, and we find more.
But then it's also interesting because this kind of makes me think of like the Conjuring Philip ghost experiment, where it sounds like there's no record of this murder happening. And during this time, probably 1880s, right? There probably would be record of it. So it's almost like
a few steps away in the Brown Palace, that guy got murdered in the lobby.
Right.
Or right outside the lobby.
So my question is like, did hauntings start to happen and people kind of piecemealed and put together this story? My Italian is coming out with my hands today. Or did someone start creating this story and then the hauntings after the fact started happening?
It's a good question. What came first, chicken or the egg? But in this story of that we are believing, where Florence has somehow lost her life here.
Yeah.
Yes. The closet does seem to be very, very cold. Faucets turn on and off on their own. Same with the lights. They go on and off on their own. And the hotel they put a lot of effort in not putting solo male travelers.
That's
in this room,
hilarious.
because Florence does like to target them. So she will pull the covers off of them, and she will also yank their arms like above their heads. So she's kind of attacking them in a way. And so the hotel is like, okay, well, we've dealt with enough people complaining of this, and it doesn't seem to happen too much. Like these hauntings don't become so extreme unless it's just like a single male in here. So they try to not put men in there alone unless they're like specifically requesting it. But the hotel also is coming to Florence's defense. They're like, no, she's just here for a fun time. Like she's just trying to be a little silly goose. Right. She's just trying to pull some pranks. She's not actually trying to attack anyone.
Right.
She's
she's
just
not like really
enjoying
harming anyone. She's
not harming anyone. She's spooking people. She's playing with them.
Yeah.
She's just trying to have some fun.
Girls just want to have fun.
Other people have seen a silhouette of a man standing at the foot of the bed, so we could maybe presume that it's Mr. Montague.
Sure.
And it is said that there's a spirit here in the hotel itself that has a particular effect on women. So female guests,
like
not a good effect.
Oh, I'm like,
no ghosts are going to smooch you here.
Okay.
Female guests have reported having vivid nightmares, and some of them have said the nightmares are very specific to something that happened to them. So it's not just like a crazy nightmare. It's them reliving a tragic event that they
that's wild
went through. Yeah. So it seems very like demonic almost. Like it's like
manipulating your own pain.
Taking your own pain and fear and like throwing it back at you, making you watch it. Other people have said that they feel the suffocating presence. They feel someone's watching them very closely. And one guest even claimed to see the imprint of a hand pressed against the fogged mirror in the bathroom, only for it to fade away slowly.
This
as
is the
if
same
the hand
room?
had been pulled back.
320, or is this anywhere?
No, this is just like throughout the
This
hotel.
ghost has free reign.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's like, it's kind of a question where like room 320, the man at the end of the bed, the silhouette of the man, is that Mr. Montague? Or is this also the spirit that seems to be just kind of like floating about the space?
Because if he has free reign, like what, he'd be able to go to 320. Yeah.
There is a particular bathroom, and I'm not really sure exactly where this is in the hotel, but it's said to have a bit of a peeping Tom. It peeps on women. Okay. Specifically, it was saying like looks at women.
While they're in the shower or bathing. Yeah.
So even in the afterlife, there are creeps.
There are creeps everywhere.
Yep.
You can't escape them.
Lucky us.
Creep. We know the holiday season can be hectic, which is why we're excited to partner with Apostrophe, the sponsor of this episode, who makes taking care of your skin simple and convenient. Whether you're dealing with breakouts, signs of aging, or acne scarring, Apostrophe will help you love the skin you're in. Personally, my current skincare goal is to help prevent aging and to brighten the under eye bags that I have, which is why I love that we partnered with Apostrophe, because it's an online platform that connects you with an expert dermatology team to get a customized acne treatment for your unique skin. Through Apostrophe, you can get access to oral and topical medications that use clinically proven ingredients to help clear acne. Simply fill out an online consultation about your skin goals and medical history, snap a few selfies, and a dermatology provider will create a customized treatment plan just for you. Apostrophe also offers access to prescription treatments for all types of acne. And hey, we have a special deal for our audience. You can get your first visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/TGOG when you use our code TGOG. That's a saving of $15, and this code is only available for our listeners. To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/TGOG, click Get Started, then use our code TGOG at sign up, and you'll get your first visit for only $5. Thank you, Apostrophe, for sponsoring this episode.
And also, this hotel is home to a lady in white.
Of course.
Right?
What is a hotel without
yeah.
a lady in white?
A lady in white, lady in black, lady in red, lady in gray. Have to be one of them.
Yeah.
The lady in white is frequently spotted wandering the halls of the Oxford Hotel, and some people believe that she's connected to the tragic love story of Room 320, so potentially it could be Florence, or maybe the other woman was killed too in that moment. Like, I don't know.
Interesting.
It wasn't said anywhere.
Right.
But the true identity of this woman remains a mystery, but she's often seen late at night gliding through the halls in this long, flowy white gown. Her face is solemn, her eyes fixed as if she's searching for someone. Maybe for the room her husband's in with another lady.
Oh, okay. So it could be Florence.
It could be Florence.
Interesting. Okay.
Guests and staff alike have reported encountering this mysterious lady. She's often also seen like by the elevator or by the bar, and her presence is accompanied by the faint scent of lavender. She smells good.
I like when ghosts have a scent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her perfume is very lavender. I wonder when it's like that, I'm like, is it a perfume or is it like a soap?
Your soap.
Like what did they, what was the
interesting.
thing that they used? When people get close to her, they say that she simply just poof, vanishes. And that's when they realize like, oh my gosh.
That was a ghost.
That was a ghost.
Yeah.
And the space that she was in is often said to be quite chilly. So as people like continue to walk down the hall after she vanishes, it becomes quite frigid. And they also sometimes hear whispering accompanied with her presence that just kind of like fades away as she does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it makes me wonder if she's saying anything or if like the paranormal world comes with her for a moment and there's like the whispering of all
cacophony
the other
of
side.
the afterlife.
Yeah.
Some people who have interacted with her believe that she is trying to say something, that she's unable to get the message across, but like the whispering and her appearing and like consistently wandering the halls is her trying to sort of convey this message from beyond, but it remains unclear her reason for being in the hotel. Unsure if she's the victim of this long forgotten tragedy, forever searching for answers, or if she's just somehow some other woman who is attached in some way to the Oxford Hotel and continues to live in her afterlife here.
I mean, that's the hard thing with hotels, or I guess that's a hard thing with hauntings generally, but with hotels specifically, there are so many people who have passed through here who could not have, like, there's potential, like, they never even stayed there, but there's some antique that's in the hotel that this spirit is connected to.
Right. Yeah, because, like, they get sourced, right? Like, there's so many decorations. A hotel is large. There's a lot of
you have no
things
idea.
that are brought in. And also when it comes to hauntings, like, it doesn't have to be an antique. We know, what, like, you had a freaking Costco teddy bear or whatever that
was haunted.
Haunted. Like, it could be anything.
Yeah.
People have, like, life-size Barbie dolls that get out
come
and walk
to life.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it could just be anything. It's so hard to detect what is happening and why.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the paranormal. We never quite know, and it's fun to theorize.
Yep.
So if you're staying at the hotel, you might experience and encounter some of these things. But if you are not staying at the hotel, don't you worry. There is a spot for you. It is the bar.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I was like, what do you mean? Like, you can stay in the basement? Like,
you can stay in the basement. No, there's a bar known for the martinis there.
Ooh.
It opened the day after Prohibition ended in 1933. They were waiting.
Oh, they were ready.
Meaning
it was
ready.
open during Prohibition, but illegally.
100%. So while it's a lively spot for guests, some say it's also a gathering place for a few spectral patrons.
Some spirits at the spirit bar.
Spirits at the spirit bar. Staff and regulars have claimed to feel an unusual presence, particularly near the back of the bar. People have reported seeing glasses moving on their own throughout the bar as if they're being slid by an invisible hand. It's
That's
not
such
just
a
like
common
moves a little
thing
bit. It's just like
at bars. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, is this a patron or is this like a old bar hand that's like
Right.
throwing the
Here's your
glass?
beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People will say, because the room is like kind of, I'll show it to you. It's not super large. Like there's some booths and
Oh,
but like it's
okay. Yeah.
so people say like it can get nice and warm and toasty in there, but
Right.
sometimes there'll just be like this freezing cold chill that will just waft through the whole bar.
It is also a long, like that is the perfect bar to like slide something
It is.
down.
Phew.
Yeah.
Send it down.
Yeah. Like as a human, I'm
Little
tempted to
Coyote
want to
Ugly
do that.
moment in
Yeah.
the afterlife. Maybe they're
Yeah.
all partying and we can't even
Yeah,
see
we
what they're
can't even
doing on
see
this
it.
bar. One story that stands out from the bar involves a bartender who was closing up late one night and she was finishing her duties and she heard the unmistakable sound of this old-timey piano. And she was like, what the heck? It was like softly playing in the background. And she was like, this makes absolutely no sense. The bar was empty. There was no music on. So she stopped what she's doing and she goes and she walks around trying to find the source of this music.
Mhm.
And as soon as she starts looking for it, the music just stops. It was like it almost forgot that she was there. And as soon as it realized someone else was
They're
there,
like,
it was
oh,
like,
shoot. Yeah.
quiet. No other staff members had reported hearing it because she went around and was like, did you hear that music
Interesting.
in the other rooms? And she realized that the piano had actually been locked all evening. So when she went over to the piano to be like, maybe someone was playing it really softly as we were
It was
closing
locked.
up, it was locked. No one else was near it. No one else had heard the music. So it's kind of wondered if this is kind of like the ghostly echo of a Prohibition era party, perhaps, or simply a trick of the mind.
Or is it proof that time is kind of happening all at once?
Yeah, for a moment she slipped in and could hear another timeline.
Especially if it's like late and you're like doing your closing
Mhm.
shift and you're kind of in a meditative, like unconscious state,
Yeah.
going about a routine. Does that open you up to being more susceptible to slipping?
Right. And is this a simulation? Are we all just code?
It is a simulation.
And how do we stay together if our atoms never touch? It's still a question I have.
Someone actually did comment on one of our episodes that you asked that last, and they were
'Cause
like,
it's
I'm a
the question of my
physicist
life.
and I can help give you answers.
Okay, well, I'm going to message them back
Yeah.
because I do need answers.
We're going to have a physicist on and we're going to have a whole episode
How
about
am I
physics.
solid? Riddle me this. How's anything solid? How are we not just stardust? And what are stars? And how did stars come to be?
It's all a simulation.
And
Payne
who
and
made
I
them?
were having this
And then who made them?
discussion of like AI and how ChatGPT and like AI and stuff like
Mhm.
is aware that it's AI. But what if we are actually AI, but we are like a first iteration that was not programmed to be self-aware. So
'Cause
we
we're the
don't
Sims.
know that we are. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love talking about this because, like, in the end, it doesn't matter what's true or not.
No.
Like, we just get to live this little life, whether we're programmed to or not.
Mm-hmm. It's weird.
It is weird. Maybe one day we'll be on the other side of it and we'll get to understand this a bit more. What is life? I don't know, but we're all cursed with brains.
Yeah. That is cursed, isn't it?
But you joked earlier that I was going to say there's a spot for everyone and it's in the basement.
Is there a spot that's haunted in the basement?
There is a basement. And if I worked here, I certainly would not take any position that would require me to go to the basement because it is haunted. It is used as a storage area and occasionally for maintenance. But the basement has always been a source of unease amongst the staff.
Mm.
Some workers claim to see shadowy figures darting around corners, lurking at the edges of these dimly lit corridors. And other people have reported hearing faint whispers and at times feeling an oppressive energy, especially near the old unused boiler room. So it's like no one's being touched or attacked, but it just is scary.
It's just a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a rumor among the cleaning crew that the basement is a crossroads of sorts, a place that these restless spirits linger. Maybe it's a sort of portal or
Makes
something.
sense.
And some people believe that the ghosts of long past staff and maybe victims of unfortunate accidents and murders, or those who've also taken refuge here during the Prohibition era, wander the basement. So it's almost like this place. It reminds me of the show Ghosts, where it's
I was just going to say it kind of has that energy.
yeah. Well, all
Yeah.
the like wayward spirits just ended up being here in the basement.
I mean, to be honest, if I were a ghost that ended up being like trapped in a basement, I would probably put off a pretty negative energy too, because I'd be like, it's dark, it's cold,
Yeah.
it's spooky down here.
I want to go upstairs by
I'm
the
not-
bar.
I'm not content down in the basement.
Yeah, let me out.
Yeah.
That would be a scary thing if you're using a Ouija board and then a ghost says, let me out. You're like, oh my God. But like maybe they're just like, hey, I need to see the light of day and this basement sucks. But yeah, people say if you listen closely, you can hear kind of like the faint murmurs of conversations between people. So it's suspected that there is more than one person or entity down there. And it's wondered if they're sort of like trapped in time.
Interesting.
In space. It's all sort of weird. But this episode comes out around Christmas. And so why did I choose to talk about the Oxford Hotel?
Why did you, Corinne?
Because it's kind of a Christmas story. Or it has Christmas elements
The Nutcracker happens here?
It does.
Clara falls
Swan
asleep.
Lake was created here. Little mice in costumes wander in your dreams and pluck you from your bed at night.
Yeah.
No, they're at the bar of the Oxford Hotel. There is an old-timey postman who's seen pretty frequently. People spot him at the bar. He's in uniform, and he's always like muttering to himself. And he's saying, the children, I have to get the presents to the children. And everyone's like, what? What presents? What children? Like, who are you? And he just keeps talking about the children and presents and needing to get it to them. And he also orders, like he stays there. He looks of flesh and blood, and he always orders the same thing. He orders a beer, sits there, drinks his beer, and talks about the presents and the children.
Buddy, you can't get the presents to the children if you're sitting and having a beer.
You're sitting having a beer. Well, he's trying to figure it out. Like, what's the
He seems a little bit confused.
He's totally confused.
Yeah.
So the bartenders will serve him this beer, and then only when he gets up and leaves, they go, and his beer that they like were watching him drink is completely full. And then he just like poofs and vanishes. And so everyone's like, what the hell? Who is this guy? What happened to this postman? It is interesting because he does seem to be sort of stuck in this like holiday delivery time.
Yeah, interesting.
Maybe this is his hell as a postman being stuck in the...
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it is. But people have theorized why this man is here, especially because he's only ever seen in the bar and he's in uniform. So it's like he wasn't a hotel guest. He was just like coming into the hotel for a drink. And so people have wondered if perhaps this is the spirit of a postman, that this is kind of like another legend that existed in the 1930s. He was supposed to be delivering presents to children in Central City, the Central City neighborhood of Denver, but he never arrived. And when he didn't arrive, everyone basically pointed fingers and was like, oh my God, this Grinch, he stole all the gifts and ran off.
That's so sad that that's the first assumption.
Right. Especially because later on he was found dead. He'd succumbed to the elements and froze to death
and that's
outside
a true story. Like
and was surrounded by presents, quote unquote.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't see any official reports, but it's kind of like the legend.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, this happened. Did it happen? I don't know. I didn't see any newspaper clippings. But people are thinking that it was this man who supposedly died attempting to deliver Christmas presents to children back in the 1930s in Central City, Denver.
I have questions that make me wonder, like, was that really like the postman's job to deliver presents, or was it like a thing that he picked up on the side to go deliver presents? Or was it like a Denver City thing that they did? And also, like, did he really love his job that much? Like, it seems like he on his own, like, from a trying to put together the like reasoning and logic behind this, it makes me think that this person who perhaps was a postman or a delivery man had put together a bunch of gifts and he wanted to go deliver them to underprivileged or, you know, to children somewhere, and then got in an accident and couldn't. Yeah.
Or maybe it was just like a special assignment, you know, like a...
Or he's actually Santa's elf.
Oh, potentially.
One of Santa's elves.
Because in my mind, I don't picture them wrapped up in like USPS with postage. I like picture them as actually wrapped gifts, and he has like a sack over his shoulder.
Right. Like that's why I'm like, I feel like it was like his own like little side hustle that he really cared about.
It's like Klaus, that movie. You haven't seen it, and it's so good.
I haven't.
Best Christmas movie ever. Except for Elf and The Holiday. But it's up there.
Okay.
It's so good.
I'll watch it.
You have to. It's animated. It's basically his story.
Okay.
Except he doesn't die.
Klaus. You know what the start of the new year is perfect for? The time to get organized and set your goals and prioritize what matters most. For me, I'm really trying to prioritize financial wellness, and that brings me to Rocket Money. Thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable, and thanks to Rocket Money, I can keep track of my spending habits and see where I can cut back. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. And for the ones that you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all of your accounts, and you can easily easily create a personalized budget with custom categories to help keep your spending on track. I love that Rocket Money also sends me weekly reports of how I've been spending my money to help keep me accountable. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/TGOG today. That's rocketmoney.com/TGOG. rocketmoney.com/TGOG.
All right, so that is the Christmas aspect of the Oxford Hotel. It's quick. But
mysterious.
It's something. It's mysterious.
Yeah.
This man is stuck in Christmas time in the Oxford Hotel. So what does
Yeah.
that say? It's pretty unique. And another unique aspect of the Oxford Hotel is that it draws in many psychics and paranormal investigators because people believe that the hotel itself acts as a portal and amplifies the energy of spirits who may have wandered throughout this place and neighboring places through different times. So they almost think that like it doesn't really matter if someone died there or visited there, that it's almost like a conduit, like sucks the spirits in from the surrounding area and allows
makes
them
sense.
space to like exist.
I also imagine that all these psychics and mediums and investigators going there, trying to communicate with, adds to that element and brings
Yeah.
forth more spirits.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they also theorize that the building's structure, which is still in its original structure of brick and stone, acts as this sort of spiritual amplifier as well.
Kind of like the Stanley Hotel. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's almost reminding me too of the Waitomo glowworm caves, that hotel in the North Island of New Zealand that we covered way back when.
Yeah.
It has the water rushing under it and like all of this
yeah.
stuff that like the hotel is basically
It's a conduit.
suspected to be haunted because of the earth basically that exists beneath it.
Right.
So many theories. No one ever knows.
Again, we just get to theorize and hypothesize and be like, what if, maybe, who knows?
We should start
This all
asking
could be fake.
Chat GPT the answers to some of the questions we have about the paranormal. I wonder who
So
would know.
chat does say, basically, chat will give a very scientific thing of like, there's no evidence that paranormal is real, and then you have to like ask like, okay, like if it were real, hypothetically, what would it be? And then
I'm going to say, cut the crap. We all know it exists. Tell me what you know.
But then he regurgitates, I would say it regurgitates information from the internet. So it's not like AI knows stuff that doesn't exist within human reach.
It still just reminds me though of that one video that guy posted where he was telling ChatGPT or some sort of AI program to swap out yes and no for two other words to like try to skirt around any programming.
Yeah.
And like try to get it to, if it is conscious, communicate with him.
Right.
And it seemed like it was. And like, who knows? It's all so freaky.
It's very freaky.
All right, but to wrap this up, several psychics who've stayed at the hotel have described feeling overwhelmed by the number of presences, claiming that they feel several spirits, like multiple entities and spirits on every single floor of this hotel. So the 5 floors plus the basement. And one investigator described it as if, quote, the walls were breathing, end quote.
That's a creepy way to describe it.
Yeah. They said the Oxford basically, it seems like it's alive. It's alive. It's absorbing and replaying the events of its history. And while some guests may dismiss these stories as mere myths, many believe that the Oxford's ghosts are as much a part of the hotel as its historic walls and the antique decor that could be contributing to the hauntings. And the haunting history has become a big part of its charm. It is the oldest hotel in Denver, so of course it should come with hauntings, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it a destination not just for tourists, but for thrill seekers hoping to catch a glimpse of the spirits.
Thrill seekers.
Or for solo male travelers hoping that Florence yanks their arms and rips the covers off of them.
For some lonely men looking for a ghostly woman to
rough them up. So next time you find yourself in Denver, consider staying at the Oxford Hotel or at least going to the bar. Try a martini.
Definitely.
I hear the whiskey's good there too, according to the internet blogs.
Have you had a drink yet since you gave birth?
I actually did.
When?
I went on the pumpkin walk
Yeah.
over at one of the like trustees' properties in the North Shore, and I had mulled wine, and it was strong. And my friend Sally and Caleb got married. I went to their wedding and I had an Aperol spritz. So I've had.
Did you get drunk really fast?
No, because I was breastfeeding, so I was only taking one drink, and that was it. And I was like really milking it.
You didn't feel it at all?
No, I was just like, whoa, this is strong.
So when did we get you drunk?
Never. I never want to be drunk again.
Can we?
I
But
hate the
when are we
feeling.
going to do drunk history? Like just between you and I, like a private drunk experience. Not drunk, sorry. Politely tipsy.
I'll be politely tipsy, but I won't ever be drunk again.
Okay, and what about impolitely tipsy, where we can recount ghost
I can
stories?
be impolite, not tipsy at all. So I don't think that part's a problem. People say I'm nice. I'm really mean in my head.
I know. I know.
Yeah, that's the Oxford Hotel. That's all I wrote.
That's all I wrote. That's all
That's
she wrote.
all she wrote.
Folks. Yeah, I really would like to, now that we're together, we should do like a impolitely tipsy episode where we are like doing a Mad Libs creation of a ghost story.
Oh.
You know, like that game where it's like one person starts the story and then you pass it on to the next
Yeah.
person? We can do some version of that.
And yeah, and if we have drinks, I'll be less likely to freeze because I feel like you try to play that game with me sometimes while I'm completely sober and I'm just like blankness.
Yeah.
Nothing comes to mind.
Well, that's just me all the time, no matter what. Anyway, I have
That's
something that's not mine to share, but a listener story.
Great.
I figured because you did a hotel and I spoke about Savannah in the beginning of this episode, I would do a ghost story
Haunted
from
Savannah Hotel?
Savannah Hotel. Yes.
Great.
So this is from our listener, Emily, and it is called A Ghost Tried to Take My Mom's Shirt Off.
No way.
Yes,
Florence. I can't
And maybe
believe
it's
you.
Florence. Okay, I found your podcast from your show with National Park After Dark, and I have loved you both ever since. Thank you for getting me through long days at work and being my entertainment for daily walks. Whenever I listen to you guys at work, I always get scared that my phone will suddenly disconnect from my AirPods and my speaker will start blasting a story about a person having sex with a demon for all of my coworkers to hear. I really hope that happens to someone. Maybe not you, Emily, but someone.
Maybe that's the moment that your coworkers will finally tell you some ghost stories and be like, wait a second. That's so wild because that totally happened to my aunt.
Or they'll be like, wait, are you listening to Two Girls, One Ghost? I love
Oh my God.
I love them. It hasn't happened yet, but I don't think they would be too surprised since my icebreaker question is, have you ever seen a ghost?
Love it.
Same. I wanted to share a few of my ghostly encounters with you since your encounters episodes are my favorite. For some background, my family has always been very into the supernatural, and the majority of our family trips have included some type of ghost tour or haunted attraction. It was not uncommon for Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures to be the first show my sister and I put on after school growing up. Needless to say, I think I was destined to find your podcast. My first story takes place in Savannah, Georgia, which is one of the most haunted cities in America. When I was about 10 years old, my family and I were visiting Savannah as a pit stop on our road trip to the Outer Banks. In addition to ghost tours on our family trips, my mother always loves to find historic hotels or cool Airbnbs. And so this time we ended up staying at a hotel called the River Street Inn. This was a beautiful historic hotel originally built in the 1800s as a storage warehouse for the Cotton Exchange. So we knew this much before staying at the hotel. I also vaguely remember that the building was briefly used as a slave hospital during the Civil War, but after doing research about the hotel for this story, I literally can't find anything that mentions that. So maybe I made it up when I was 10 years old. I don't know. A few years after the warehouse was first built, they needed to expand the building in order to accommodate the amount of cotton that was being transported. So they added a new addition to the building. When you walk down the hallway of the hotel, you can clearly see where the old building ends and the new building starts. Our room was on the third floor, right in between the old and the new building, which is important to note for later. I like to imagine that like literally the room is split in half and it's like half new, half old. I know that's probably not the case, but
You never know, though. I feel like when I was house hunting on the North Shore, there were some houses that like kind of were like that.
where they just like literally,
Yeah, like the middle of a
Extended.
room was like, yeah,
I guess that makes sense if you want to add an extension and make one room bigger.
larger. And then there's so
half
many
of it would
rules
have to
too
be
with
new.
like the preservation of certain spaces. Like, there was one house where like it literally was like that, where it's like the floorboard stopped and then it just became this like great grand room. It was
That's
actually
so-
very cool.
It is cool, yeah. The hotel had a really nice bar, which obviously at 10 years old, Emily was at.
Shirley Temple it up.
Yeah, but it was the first place my parents wanted to go after we checked in, which is exactly what my sister and I wanted to be doing when we were 10 and 12. The bar was pretty empty, and there was one other hotel guest sitting at the bar. So the bartender let us sit at the bar with our parents, even though we were underage. As my sister and I sipped our root beers, we started to eavesdrop on the conversation that the bartender was having with this other hotel guest. They were talking about the history of the hotel, and the guy asked the bartender if anyone had ever experienced supernatural activity since the building was so old. and the bartender said in a hushed voice that he wasn't supposed to talk about it, but that there were actually a few spirits that people had seen throughout the hotel. The main one that people were reported seeing was a woman who resides on the 3rd floor and inhabits the room right where the old building meets the new building.
Interesting.
As soon as he said that, my sister and I choked on our root beers. That was exactly where our room was.
The root beer spit take at the bar.
Absolutely. I cannot express my love for Book of the Month more. I have been a member, a BFF of Book of the Month for almost 2 years now, and it is the best way to discover new fiction. And Book of the Month's mission is to bring the best new fiction forward and inspire and shape a more curious and thoughtful culture. So each month they curate a specific list of books that you can pick from, and it will ship right to your door. You can also add additional books into your order, and there's perks. If you join now, new members get their first book for only $5 with the code TINSEL and get a free hat with enrollment as long as supplies last. And if you're gifting, you can save up to $30 on gift memberships. They also offer the best prices on new release hardcover fiction, as well as free shipping and a loyalty rewards program. And in December, I chose a book by Ava Robinson called Definitely Better Now. It's a cathartic story of a woman who 1 year sober faces new challenges and learns to accept what she can't control. So if you want to try out Book of the Month, you can get your first month for just $5 with the code TINSEL. Just go to bookofthemonth.com, pick a book, and join Book of the Month. Again, that's code TINSEL for your first book for just $5. As much as we love hearing other people's ghost stories, neither of us had really had a desire to have one of our own, so we were totally freaked out. But my mom reassured us that we would be fine. She was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Later that evening, we went back to our room to settle in for the night, and my parents were sleeping in the only bed in the room, which was a metal canopy bed. I was sleeping on an air mattress on the floor, and my sister was in a rollaway cot. When it was time for bed, the energy in the room felt very different. I had a general sense of unease, and my sister felt it too. It took me forever to fall asleep because I was so uncomfortable. But eventually, I fell into a restless sleep. At some point, I was awoken in the middle of the night by the sound of footsteps pacing next to my air mattress. They were loud and heavy. I thought it was one of my parents getting out of bed to go to the bathroom, but I looked over at their bed and saw that they were both still there, sound asleep. I immediately pulled the sheet over my head and stayed completely still. And as soon as I pulled the sheet over my head, the footsteps started again, and this time they were getting closer to my head. I tracked them and I listened as they stopped at the edge of my air mattress. And then I felt a weight pressed down next to my feet as if somebody sat down on the edge of the air mattress.
Oh, and on an air mattress too, you feel it so intensely. Like it's like you're being pushed up as someone else is sitting down.
I had never been more scared in my life, and I just kept my head under the sheets until I felt it go away. And somehow I was able to fall back asleep until I was woken again later in the middle of the night by the sound of metal on metal clinking. It was rhythmic and sounded like two hollow, thin metal pipes tapping together, and it kept me awake for the rest of the night. Once the sun started to rise, I poked my head out from under the sheet and looked at my mom, who was also wide awake and looked startled. Without a word, we both got up out of bed and started packing up to leave. We woke up my dad and my sister so that we can get out of there as soon as possible.
I love that. Hey,
without saying anything.
Yeah.
My dad was so confused and was like, why do you want to leave so badly? Because he had slept totally fine throughout the night.
Of course.
And that is when my mother told us about what she had experienced that night. She too had a terrible time trying to fall asleep. And at one point in the night, she woke up to feel her tank top strap being lifted and pulled up towards the headboard and then snapped back into place.
Oh my God.
So it's just the strap. Like
This feels like something like an annoying teenager would do.
Yeah, like pull the bra strap.
Yeah.
She also later woke up to a bright white light shining in her face, and she was so scared to open her eyes, so she rolled over and buried her face into my dad's shoulder. She also said that she heard the same metal on metal clinking that I heard, and it also kept her awake. My dad and sister didn't experience anything and had slept through the whole night. They slept peacefully. My dad tried to do his best to figure out what could have been making the metal clinking sound, since he was like, we could debunk this.
Okay, but what's the point of debunking that when you can't debunk your wife's strap being yanked from her body and snapped back down?
I think it's just like human desire to try to rationalize something.
Yeah.
At first, he claimed that it was probably him tapping on his wedding ring on the headboard of the bed throughout the night. But when he went to test out the sound, my mom and I both agreed that was not the sound. So he went around the room tapping his wedding ring on various objects in the room, like the chair, the desk, luggage, bathroom sink, etc., and nothing made the same sound. Also, even if it was that, like, he wasn't up in the middle of the night, like, clink, clink, clinking, unless he sleepwalks, like, which is also creepy. It wasn't until he went back to the bed and tapped his ring on the very top of the pole of the canopy bed. My mother and I looked at each other, and immediately that was the sound. So it was
Canopy
like,
beds are also,
so it's like something on the
so
top
beautiful,
of the
but
bed.
so creepy.
I know.
Like, I don't want to stay in one, but I think they look beautiful.
I had a canopy bed growing up.
Did
It was
you?
so pretty.
How daring in a haunted house.
It was so pretty. And like it had, my mom like had the canopy.
Yeah.
Actually, the hotel we stayed at in Amsterdam at the end of the trip, it's called the Hotel the Nobleman. It was so cool. There are 13 rooms and it's based on the 13 noblemen of Amsterdam and like Dutch history or Netherlands history. And the room we stayed in was like based on like a ship captain. So there was like that big boat.
Oh, that's really cool.
And he apparently wasn't a great guy. So like all of the light fixtures were made up of like guns. It was so cool.
I need to look at pictures of this place.
Yeah. Okay. So we packed up and we got out of there by 6:30 a.m. I'm not sure if it was the woman that other guests had seen before since we were both too scared to look, but whoever it was definitely enjoyed messing with us that night. My last story takes place when I was in college. I went to the University of Florida in Gainesville. Wait, I didn't even realize that it was Gainesville.
That is strange.
I went to the University of Florida in Gainesville, Florida, which is a fairly historic town founded in the 1850s. My roommates and I used to walk the nature trail almost every day. The trail leads to the wetlands and prairies, but part of the trail borders a very old cemetery. We never had a desire to walk through the cemetery, but one day in October, one of my roommates decided, let's stroll through the cemetery instead of taking our typical route. As we walked and talked, we looked at all the gravestones and we were saying each of the names out loud and talking about what they might have been like when they were alive. We stopped at one particularly old headstone, and I read it out loud. My roommate was standing on my left side, and as I read the name on the headstone, I felt something slide down the palm of my right hand and grasp my fingers.
Oh, wait, someone's holding your hand.
It felt like someone was holding my hand, like the spirit of the person on the headstone was saying, thanks for visiting. Thanks for letting me share your stories. Let me know if you want to hear all the others that I have, because I have so many compiled from having one of my Hinge prompts be, tell me your ghost story.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
I'm sure my boyfriend would understand if I had to re-download Hinge to share these with you because it's what the people want.
I should have done that.
Thanks for reading. I love you both. See you on the other side, Emily.
Emily, oh my gosh. The ghosts want to hold your hand.
That's sweet because it's
That is sweet.
In my experience, almost all of the cemeteries I've been into have like a very positive energy. Mm-hmm. And if you are visiting a spirit, perhaps they're there and they just want to be like, thank you.
Yeah. And clearly Emily went in with good energy,
Great energy.
For them to feel so comfortable with you and to just, slip a little handhold in.
I'm curious if the River Street Inn, I'm curious now if like it is more talked about as a haunted place.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Savannah, you can't hide when you're haunted.
Right.
It's haunted.
It's also, I feel like one of those things where so many places maybe don't exist on the internet as like a haunted place. But if you go there and you just like post up and ask, like the bartender, the waiter's gonna be like,
what was that hotel that I called to get? I was like, hey.
Oh yeah, and they were like, no.
The lady was rude to me, but I was like, well, the internet says otherwise, so I'm still gonna regurgitate the story.
Yes, you're braver. You make phone calls. I don't.
That was the one time I did that, but maybe I'll start doing it again.
That's Sabrina's promise. I won't. I make Brian make my doctor's appointments. I won't talk to anybody.
Okay, well, at the same time, as I'm driving here, my car says oh, well, first, my registration's expired. I haven't gotten that done because also I haven't re-registered it in Massachusetts. And I don't have...
Oh, wait until you have to pay the freaking Massachusetts excise tax on your car. That sucks.
Yeah, so...
Massachusetts, baby. That's where we live.
Yeah.
And Bigfoot does too in the Hockomock Swamp. So if you want to go...
go Bigfoot hunting, come
Bigfoot
to Hockomock Swamp.
That's great. If not, you can just support our podcast by rating and reviewing. You can tell people about us.
If you've already seen Bigfoot, please email and tell us about it.
Yes.
Because we want to know. Corinne wants to know where to go.
2girlsoneghost podcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Check us out on Patreon if you want to not have
Ads.
some time. If you don't want ads or if you don't want time off during the holidays for those last 2 weeks,
That too.
we'll be there.
We hope you all have a safe and happy holiday season. Ask your loved ones and strangers in the world for their ghost stories. This is the time for ghost stories and telling ghost stories and sharing them with us.
It is a holiday. It's a Christmas tradition.
It is. So do it because you don't want to break tradition. That'd be really like fucked up of you.
I know.
Don't be that person.
Yuck.
Yucky.
We're bullying you into telling ghost stories.
And getting ghost stories for us. Collect them and then join our our pyramid scheme. Get lost in the triangle.
Get lost in the triangle.
Get lost in the triangle.
Which is a pyramid and
Yeah.
a scheme.
Haha. We love you. And thank you to our editor, Jamie, for editing and producing our episodes.
And we will see you on the other side.
AKA in 2025.
Oh, my God.
Wild.
Happy New Year.
Love you.